Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we'll get the meeting started. I don't think John Veltmar is going to be here. I haven't heard from him, but I did read an email that he was corresponding with Judy Blackman on, saying that he had an eye infection and it made him very hard to see. So I'm not sure that he's recovered from that, and obviously if he can't see, he ain't going to be driving here. So I'm assuming we give John's apology unless he turns up in the next few minutes. We have a lot of apologies tonight. So I'll start it off by saying this is meeting 1225, Monday the 11th of April at Philas House. Welcome members. We have apologies from Matthew Lloyd, Frank Chauvier, Grant Chauvier, Ross Pratley, David Mee, Joe Detling, Ron Bolden, Marie Brad, Les Carlisle, and now John Veltmar. The general, sorry, is there any other apologies? No? Okay. General business. Auction 47 closed on Saturday. There are still a few unsold lots available at their reserve price. So if you want to have a look and you see anything, let me know. So I'll be happy to put them aside or mail them on to you. I'm pushing our conference. We have our conference on the 13th of June here. Hello, he made it.
Take his apologies off.
I've just started the meeting. How are you?
Wet.
Oh, really?
Is it raining out there?
How's your eyesight? How's it?
Oh, it's not good.
Okay.
Been all right
You
to
can
drive,
see
eh?
now?
Bit fuzzy.
Right.
I find it a bit fuzzy these days too.
So we'll take
It's raining heavy out there, isn't it?
we will take your name off the apology list, John.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Hello, everybody.
Good to see you.
Oh, yeah.
We're up to general business, and
General business.
I'm up to the conference. So the conference is on Monday the 13th of June here in Philas House. It starts at 10 a.m. and the doors will be open probably about 9 a.m. or so. So I'll be picking you guys up a bit earlier because the Spit Bridge goes up at 8:30, so we have to be over by 8:30. We have a whole lot of talks that have been slotted in, and I was trying to squeeze in an extra spot for more talks, but since we didn't have speakers for the talks, I sort of expanded the time we have for morning and afternoon tea and extra bit of time for lunch, etc. But we still have spots for talks. So would you like to give a talk?
I haven't given any thought to it.
Haven't given any thought to it?
No.
Well, you got 2 months.
See what happens. Life is pretty busy for me at the moment, and family up in Newcastle, so.
Right. Well, I'm assuming that if we can't get anyone else to give talks, that the president and myself will give a talk and we'll fill the last 2 spots.
We'll have to fill in somehow.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
right.
Okay.
So there were 2 spots. So if anybody wants to give a talk, feel free. It's due to finish at 4, but there's no reason why, if we get people who want to give a talk, it can't go to 4:30 or so. It's another half an hour is not going to make that much difference. And is there any other general business? No. Okay. I'll hand it over for you to continue with the topics.
look over tonight's topic is numismatics of Japan and Korea. So, did anyone have anything from Japan or Korea? No?
Did you bring anything in, George?
Well, we can include recent acquisitions. too,
Yeah,
if you
recent
like.
acquisitions as well. I've brought some Japan and Korea in,
Yeah.
and I'm sure you should have a few.
No, I should have, but I didn't bring them.
Ah,
So,
okay.
Yeah, but,
You know, 49 prefectures, is it?
48.
What-
But yeah, look, I've just been inundated with work lately because we've had a couple of people off sick, and
This weather doesn't help.
and the weather, yeah, well, lots of issues, and yeah, I said to them tonight, I didn't come last month down at Nobles, mainly because I couldn't get anyone to do the work that I was doing. But today I just said to them, look, I've got to go. I had everything ready for them so that they can just carry on.
I worked at Nobles.
Mm.
I was showing the lots, and on the Monday, I normally start working on Nobles on Wednesday. On the Monday, I got a real bad cough, and I had achy shoulders, and I went to bed, and I was thinking, oh. So on the Tuesday, I woke up, and the aches had gone, but the cough was still there. So I did a rapid antigen test, and it was negative. I said, okay, it's a cough.
Yeah.
So off I went to Nobles, worked there on the Wednesday. I was there on the Thursday, and got a phone call from my son-in-law saying, my daughter Savannah isn't feeling well, and she just did a test, and she was positive. And since we all live together, you're probably a close contact. Ouch. So I went and told Bob and all the others there, and they had a spare test. We were going to go to the chemist around the corner and buy a rapid antigen test, but Nikki on the front counter had a spare test, so did it. I showed I was positive. So I said, okay, goodbye. Off I go home. So I spent the next week at home. Still had the cough. Slowly went. And by next Wednesday, cough was still just that, but it wasn't anything else. So Thursday I went back to work. So I went back to Nobles, and I had Thursday and Friday with them as well. But they had a very good auction. They, particularly with the Tibetan coins that Mark Freehill had. Now, Mark had been to Tibet several times. You know, he was backpacking all over the place, and he was up there in Lhasa and there, and he must have picked. I mean, he's always looking for good stuff. But they were saying this is the first time in their history that they had a lot that sold for 100 times more than estimate. And I can't remember what the estimate was, whether it was $1,000 or there, but it was 100 times more. So whatever it was, the Tibetan stuff went very well, and I think a lot of the other stuff went well too.
Is that only because you don't normally see that stuff in
Oh yeah, I mean this stuff is rare,
Yeah.
so it's there. But the collector market is still very good. You know, I look at all the stuff we sell on our auctions, and I think to myself, I wonder what it would fetch if it was actually in a big Nobles auction. You know, would the vendors be actually getting more money for some of the expensive lots?
Might be paying more in sort of
Yeah,
commission.
well, I think you would, because a lot of the estimates that Jim has in his catalogue is like it starts at about $150, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so where ours doesn't. So
Yeah, I mean, a lot of our stuff is small stuff, but you know, sort of thinking like the lot we had with the 1915 8 shilling that Pete won. I'm sure with the little description that Bob Roberts had written, saying this coin was from the Bank of Romania's sale in 1990s or whatever it was, and it's obviously been sitting in their vault to back their currency for 100 years or however long. You know, it's a beautiful coin, and I'm sure with that and with it, that it might have gone for $1,000, you know, but for us, it went for 710, and the lucky winner is over there. Also, the Federation notes from Keith Taylor. There were 2 packs of 10 uncirculated Federation notes with running numbers. The Renix catalogue has those notes at $100 each in unk. Now, I'm saying, okay, that's the dealer's price and what next, but when I try and price it for our auction, I was saying, if it was an EF note, it would be worth $20. If it was an A-unk note, it would be probably worth $40, maybe $50. So I'll go, $15 or so on there to try and sell it. So there were 10 notes, so basically we were selling them at $10 each, and perhaps in the street you could have got $100 each. Don't know. But 3 times face, it's still pretty good.
All right. Well, I think it's up to Rod to show our Japanese.
Did you have some Japanese stuff to show?
Yeah.
Do you have Japanese?
Okay. Well, up you come.
Come and show us, George. We'll start with George.
Yep.
I have never been
George, give me the coin.
too
George,
excited or interested in Asian coins.
George.
give me the coin now. Showed. Yeah.
The Japanese, with their small coinage, tried to match Europe and the USA by producing a sen silver coin, crown size, about 24 grams, and the only inscription in European letters was the 900 fine. At an earlier stage of my collection, I had about 7 of those in running date order, all with chop marks. And the Japanese government in the mid-1800s started melting any coins with chop marks on them. And strangely enough, these particular coins are very, very pricey. In the Krauss catalogue, they're well above the other crown coins in equivalent to USA or European ones. Yes, a lot of them have been destroyed by chop marks, etc. In the old days, Martin Daniel had a lot of French Indochina 100 centime silver coins, which he used to sell dirt cheap because of chop marks, and I used to collect those. But I have about 4 or 5 of these left, and
It's a nice coin.
I'm just surprised that the price of them is increasing.
It's a very nice coin, because in this period with the trade with Japan and China, all trade was done in silver. That's all they wanted, silver. So you got your Mexican silver dollars, you have Maria Theresa thalers and what next. The British started putting out trade dollars. They're all about the same size, and this was a trade coin. Beautiful, but it's a nice coin. Very nice one.
Thanks,
That
George.
it? Any others? Only the one coin?
No.
Okay.
Thanks, George.
in which case I shall give you a little history. I've actually shown these Japanese coins. This one is a 1 sen coin. Currently Japan has yens, but 100 sen may be yen. So this is 1/100th of a yen. And this one is from 1920. It's the Showa reign, which is the Hirohito. And it's a Showa coin of year 9. So there's the coin on that side, and there's the reverse, which says 1 sen on it. All Japanese coins have the chrysanthemum flower on the top, so that's one way of recognizing a coin that's Japanese. It's got a chrysanthemum flower. So the 1860s, the American fleet went into Japan, and they were greeted by the Japanese, who realized when Admiral Perry and the Americans went in that the American naval fleet was far superior to Japan, and that sort of Western technologies and things were far superior from them. And they decided at that stage that they were going to modernize, and they were going to try and develop their culture and their nation using the best of each of the Western powers. So at that stage, they built their navy around the Royal Navy, because it was the main navy in the 1800s. But they took the best from everywhere. Also in the 1880s, Japan was still in the sort of feudal period where a lot of the different provinces were governed by different shoguns. And in about the 1880s, the emperor managed to get control of the country back again. So suddenly he managed to get all the areas to recognize his power, and he has a central power, and they modernized, and the reign of that emperor, and I can't remember what his name was, but the reign was called the Meiji Restoration. So it came back, and that was about the 1860s. This one is the Showa. The Meiji was the father of Hirohito, and he went on for many years, and when he died, Hirohito took over, and his reign was called Showa, S-H-O-W-A, Showa. And all the coins are dated by their reign, so they say it's Showa year 6, Showa year 22. Hirohito was on for many, many years. I've got a Showa year 52 here, so he was on the throne for at least 52 years, probably even longer. But this one is a 1921 sen coin. It's quite a nice little coin. I wasn't sure if John was going to be here tonight, and I thought if you were here you'd be showing 48 prefectures, but you didn't, so I thought this afternoon I better put together a combination of stuff, and I won't show very many bimetallics. I'll just show Japanese coins. I was surprised at how many I had. So that's the first one, and I got it because it's a 1 sen. It's a 1 sen from 1920, and it's in bronze. The next one, that one was Hirohito year 9. This one is 1941, ominous year, and it's Hirohito year 16. And it's also a 1 cent coin. So, yeah. We see it there? Yeah. It's a tiny little coin with Mount Fuji underneath. It's aluminium. And let's see the other side. That's quite a nice little coin, sir. They've gone from being bronze to 1941, they're aluminium.
Did they go to aluminium because of the war?
I think so. This next coin is a 5 cent coin. I probably should have started with this one because this is a Meiji coin. It's Meiji year 23, which is 1890. And it's a copper nickel 5 cent. 5 cents. You see there, the chrysanthemum flower is the centerpiece. And you see, that's a 2, that's a 10, that's a 3. So it's show Meiji year 23. So 2 and then 10, so that's 20, and then 3. So that's how they sort of date their coins. The next coin here is another 5 cent. It's from 1942. Hirohito again. Again, a little aluminium coin with the. I'm not sure what sort of bird that one is. I think it's probably an eagle of some sort. And that's the reverse with the chrysanthemum in the middle. The next coin we have is a 10 cent. Again, it's 1942. It's year 17 of the Showa reign. Big chrysanthemum with the number 10 above it. I'm not sure exactly what that figure in the center is. It could be a lotus flower or something like that. The next coin is Hirohito year 22. It's 1947, so the war's over. And this is a 50 cent coin, and it's in brass. So they obviously didn't need to make bullets in 1947. So they could make coins instead. And you can see they put 50 in there, so they're starting to use European numbers. So I guess the Americans can know what the coin's worth. We go up to 1 yen now. So 1 yen is 100 cent, and this is 1956. So again, it's aluminium. It's a little plant they have there. 1 yen. On the other side, there's 1 yen there. And if you look at the dating, it's 310-1, so it's year 31. Now we come into the 1970s. There's a 5 yen brass coin. with a hole in the center. So the sort of sprig of cherry blossoms or whatever it is there in the brass coin. The year was 50, so it's 50, year 50. That's brass. Go up to 1979. Again, Showa reign, which is Hirohito's reign. And this is a 10 yen bronze coin. So there's one of the palaces shown on this side, and on the other side is 10 yen and the regnal year. We go up to 50 yen, which is a copper nickel coin with a hole in the center. This one has several chrysanthemum flowers on it with a hole in the center. It's quite an attractive little coin, copper nickel. And on the reverse it tells you there. And it also says 52. 52 doesn't mean 1952, it means Hirohito's reign year. It's actually 1977.
Are these all similar sizes, coins?
Sorry?
These coins, are they all similar in size?
No. No, they're all fairly small. I mean, this one's a bit smaller than, it's smaller than 10-cent coin. You can see them in a minute. You come over and have a look.
I mean,
This
QBs and
no.
candy, you can find wrong face. You know, they're very similar. Like,
Now we go up to the 100 yen. £100 coin. I forget which. The upside. No, it's the other upside down. There. And again, there's a floral design there. Japanese love floral designs. And on the reverse it says 100 yen, 42. So it's Hirohito's year reign 42, which is 1967.
So is that still aluminium or is it the silver one?
Yeah,
Copper nickel.
he was around quite a long time. We now come into the modern era. And this is a 500 yen coin of his son, Akihito. And his title, his reign title was called Heisei, Heisei, so Akihito. And this is a 500 yen of Akihito year 29, which was 2017, so that's not that long ago. I got this from a friend of mine who went to Japan skiing, and I said, "Oh, if you see any of the 500 yen coins, get them for me," which he did. I was thinking of the bimetallic ones, but he brought this one back, so I was happy. And just recently, this is bimetallic, Akihito abdicated, and his son now is the emperor, and the regnal year is called Reiwa, R-E-I-W-A. So this is Reiwa year 3, and this is bimetallic. This is a 2021 bimetallic 500 yen, normal 500 yen. So that's more or less the Japanese coins that have been around for the last 100 years. So the sens, the yens. Prior to that, there were a lot of other sort of provincial coins, the mons and a lot of other sort of big brassy sort of coins. And there's people who are serious collectors go for those sort of things, whereas I just collected what came my way and just tried to collect one or two of each year if I could and put them aside. And these are the best ones that I put aside. The only other Japanese numismatic bit I have is a bimetallic, this bimetallic piece from 1984, is it?
Yep.
84 or 94? I think it's 84. Might be 94. From the, they had a fun park in Tokyo called the Sega, and you had to pay to go in, and you had all these games and arcades and things, and you use these tokens to play with. And I got in contact with a guy there who said, I'd happily get you some, but he said, you're going to have to pay my entry fee, etc. So I said, that's fine, I'll pay your entry fee. So I think I sent him up the equivalent of $20 odd, and I got 2 dozen of these coming back. So that was quite fun. So that's the Sega game. It's the same on both sides. But it was bimetallic, so that was why I wanted it. I have a few Korean coins, not many. This is a 1-1. Bank of Korea, 1970, aluminium 1-1. It's again, it's got a sort of floral emblem. The next one is a brass coin. It's also 1970, and it's a 10-1. Bank Korea 10-1, 1970 on it. So it shows a little temple. And my final coin is a bimetallic coin. It was hard to get bimetallic coins from Korea, but this is a sort of private issue that was put out. Arts and Sciences 2010, the first Korean money fair. So they put that one out, and I managed to get a copy of it, 2010.
It is buy and not try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, yes, upside down. Because read the writing on this. Something, trust and value.
It's got a bit of a different tone, doesn't it?
Creating trust and value.
Yeah.
Money fair.
Good
So
start.
they have a picture of one of their early coins in the centre. I could have sworn I had a few more money fair coins too, but I couldn't find them. Bimetallic ones from other years. My collection of bimetallics. I know I have some of the 500 yen coins that John has for different years. I don't have all 48, but I've probably got 20 of them. Damned if I could find it. I don't know where I put it, but that's the way it goes.
And I can understand that.
Yeah. So that, my friends, is my Japan and Korea collection for tonight. So, thank you.
That's right. No one else? Any recent acquisitions or anything like that?
I just brought in a little bit of something or other which is sort of quite topical, I suppose, with most of us at the moment. Where did I put my glasses? Here. We're all hearing about that some of our coins now in circulation are worth more than the face value, of course. So I put this little article I got from Morning Star, which used to be countries going back some years. Their financial sort of magazine, buys people shares and or whatever. So I thought I'd just take a copy of it because it's just illustrated a few things there. And there's a little chart, I suppose you could call it, and showing some of the percentages of the materials in them. And of course, they're copper, nickel, and aluminium are the sort of ones that are in our coins. Of course, we don't have any escalation of values with our 50 cents and $1 and $2 because the metals in them, of course, don't add up to the face value in any shape or form. But here they've got the sort of the 5 cents. It's worth probably about 6. It could be 7. The 10 cents could be worth about 14. And 20 cents is worth about 28. And the 50 cents here, of course, as it points out, is worth 38, so you're not going to go and try and melt that down. So I thought I'd just bring this in, just for you to see, and there's some breakups here showing you the copper, nickel and whatever in some of the things, and a little bit of tidbits in it, so I can just pass it around if you like. Just have a
Can
read.
I show it on here?
Yeah, sure.
So which is the best one to collect for the metal value?
20 cents.
20 or 50?
No, not the 50, because the value of the 50 is the value is higher than the contents of the material.
Right.
So yes, I was a bit disappointed in that.
And is it the nickel that's worth the money or the copper?
Both. Both those materials are going up
Right.
because they're used a lot in these new vehicles.
Yeah.
Tell
I
you
mean,
right
they
about-
want the nickel, especially for the batteries.
For the batteries, and of course the copper because of the EV cars, and you probably got somewhere in the vicinity of 3 or 4 times the amount of copper in an EV vehicle today than the sort of vehicles we're driving now. So that's why there's huge demand for copper, and of course it's going up, and of course the miners and BHP and all those sorts of people, they're trying to produce copper all around the place and get it out of the ground. South America's having a bit of trouble over there because they're having union troubles, and they're also having problems with the environment, I think, and so forth. So as far as some of the other countries, big coffee producers like obviously Australia, and of course we've got a lot of nickel here as well that they're searching for, of course. So we might do all that out of, who knows. But it's interesting to see. So no doubt people will be keeping their eye on the movement of these materials and the coins that they got, and carton them off and turn them into some real money. So who knows? Who knows how far it'll go? And you know.
One would assume that once the Queen passes on and Charles becomes king, that they'll redesign. I mean, assuming we're not a republic by then, but that they'll redesign all the coins and make them smaller.
Yep.
Follow New Zealand, and
Yep.
you know, have small coins with less costly metal.
Well, we're going to do the same, because might chuck 5s and 10s out completely.
Yeah.
So it's going to happen, and of course a lot of these mines, of course, around the world, they've been there for quite a number of years. I know we have the technology to search deeper and all the rest of it, but the deeper you go, the more expensive you get it out. But some of these metals are going to get a little bit harder find and track down, and if we do find it, it's going to cost more to get it out. So we might find more plastic coins, who knows? Dread the day. But of course, if the Swedes had their way, we'd be doing away with coinage anyway.
Yeah. Well, everything's tapped nowadays anyway, yeah. Oh, well, put the kettle on.
All right, well, thank you all for those interesting...
Got a boil of water, John.
Give him a minute to boil the water. Keep talking.
Yeah, it's interesting to sort of see the different coins that Rod brought, and the same with George. It is true, but if you think about what Tony was just saying, if you think you're going to capitalise and make some money out of the 20-cent coins, you're going to need tons of it. Right? You can't just sort of go with a little bag full and say, can I cash these in? Just look at you and say, no.
How many 50-cent coins make a kilo?
A kilo, 130 something.
Right. He knows.
So, but you know, like with the 20-cent coins with the copper nickel, you know, the amount of copper and the amount of nickel in those things, you know, you'd have to have a lot of them, like a truckload, I reckon. Anyway, that's what is the coinage is all about. But I dare say we probably will follow New Zealand with the smaller currency. But let's just wait and see. Okay, well, thank you all for coming. It's going to be a quick meeting tonight, and I'll close the meeting. We're going to have our teas and coffees when the kettle boil in a minute. 30
You
seconds.
might get away with being able to use one kettle tonight.
Okay. All right. Rod already mentioned our next meeting in...
I didn't mention the next meeting because I forgot to put it down.
Oh,
The next meeting's in
May.
May. I can't remember what it was. What the
Well,
topic was.
Rod will no doubt send you an email to that effect. You know, when it gets closer to the meeting date, and it will be here
Yeah.
as well. So yeah.
I can't remember whether it was Canada or North America or something like that. June, of course, we normally don't have a meeting, but we have a conference. So I hope if everyone's in Sydney not doing anything on the Monday, come to the conference.
And on the Monday.
Yeah, Queen's Birthday Monday.
Yeah, the Monday.
That's usually our meeting day, but we don't have it because it's the Queen's birthday.
Yeah.
And every second year, we're up at Coffs Harbour. So perhaps every second year now, we can be here instead.
Yeah, that's right.
And start developing a conference for people who don't attend the meeting so much or can't make it up to Coffs Harbour. So we have a few speakers, like John Pern is coming down, so he's flying down for that, and he's going to give a talk. Colin Pitchfork will be here giving a talk on ancients.
Ron Bolden.
No, Ron's not giving a talk now. I don't know if he'll be here.
Okay.
The other Surgeon General, Bruce Short.
Okay.
Bruce Short is giving a talk. David Mee's giving a talk. Ross Prattley's giving a talk. And we still have spots available for anybody else who'd like to give a talk. And John Kennedy's coming down from Terrigal to give a talk on Irish coins. So that'll be nice. And ideally, if you haven't gone away for that long weekend, you're in Sydney, easy to get here.
Yeah.
By the time you're going home, everyone else is coming into Sydney and we're going out the other way. So,
Yeah.
so it should be fairly easy. Besides, we finish at 4 anyway, so yeah. So I hope we get half a dozen, get 20, 30 people to come and have it. As is mentioned on the website, that we will supply morning and afternoon tea, and whoever comes brings their own lunch. It's no charge. We'll have set up like we have here, and I'm hoping you bring your laptop and they can put their items in it and just show it on the screen like we normally do at Coffs Harbour.
Okay. Very good. All right then. Well, coffee and tea is ready. So we'll close the meeting and thank you all for coming. I'll see you next month.
And the coins are here to look at if you like to see them up close. That's a nice coin, George. Very nice. Silver dollar.
Right. It's on.
Hooray!
I'll put some extra.
I don't think we've used that many.
No, I don't think we will.
It's interesting that you don't get any leads anymore.
No, it's not really my fault.
It's all level training.
Yeah, so you have your new soul on you and you wouldn't know.
Exactly.
I think that's it.
I didn't think of it. I didn't bundle of forms I gave you. It was banknotes of Japanese occupation, Philippines, etc.
And then it just disappeared. It was a historic document, and then it just went.
So it happened to me, when we brought into the that we had multiple documents. Very important, but I just didn't, I just assumed it was quite okay. And when we went and bought the place, we actually had to hand the deeds into the bank. And that obviously went off to Land's Titles or whatever from there. And they kept it. And what we got back
Turn this
was
off.